People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a cold with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen.
What is up, everybody? As you can see, I wouldn't say I'm ahead of it because I am starting later than I intended to, but this is the first time I think we've gone live and had the parlays ready from the jump. So balancing it out a little bit, but I hope you guys get a chance to tail these. We got Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, and Vikings, and we got a lot to talk about. So I'll let some people get in the chat, get in before I start going over everything. But as always, we're going to talk touchdowns. We're going to talk about the rushing game, the passing game, open it up to some Q&A, use the website to give you guys some of my insight, and then game will be started. First question we got is, how do you like Jordan Addison? Well, let's pull up some stuff on the handy dandy website, and I'll be able to give you a little bit more visual with as I talk about it as well. So we'll look up Jordan Addison, and here we go. Let me make sure that's sharing on the screen properly. It is. So Jordan Addison, his betting line is about 40.5 for his best line on Fanatics. So if we look at the whole season, only over in 5 of 10. If we want to look only at games with McCarthy, we see 2 of 5. Routes run, if we need to filter out any games. No, it looks like full bit of games in all of those. Air yards, this is where it gets really interesting because 78 plus air yards in every single game, and you're giving me a 40.5 line. Quarterback has to be really bad to get that kind of usage and not be going over this line consistently. And yeah, J.J. McCarthy, he's been pretty damn bad. The good news is it's close enough to the game time where it already updated the opponent to next week's opponent, so we're going to ignore the rankings while I put it here. Dallas is not good at defending down the field. They're really bad at defending down the field. So if we want to look at yards per completion, filters out the worst game. If we look at the top half, that's where you see two of the green beans over there. If we want to not include J.J. McCarthy and just say when he has a good yards per completion matchup, Washington 62, Chicago 20, Detroit 48, and Philly 129. His air yards in that Chicago game was his second highest of the 4. So it's a good matchup for him. I can tell you the usage will be there. I can tell you that with confidence. The thing I can't say with confidence is that J.J. McCarthy is going to get him the ball. So that's the real gamble with anything Vikings related in this one. It's what's J.J. McCarthy going to look like? Because I can tell you a lot of things. I can't tell you that. Do you think Jettas gets a touchdown tonight? I'm super weird spot with him being the last leg of multiple parlays, one being 2+, which you pay $5.3K, and I have a $235 cash out at the moment. I am bigger on the Cowboys than I am on the Vikings with this one for the sole purpose of, hey, once they do put together a good drive, I think that's obviously more likely that it's going to come together. I can pull up some of the red zone efficiency stats for the Cowboys while I have this up. So let me see, 2025. Let's first start off with, let's use that to start talking about the touchdown analysis because you guys know we try and go to the opponent rushing touchdown percentage, right? Well, there's not that much edge in this one because Minnesota is 15th, 14th highest in rushing touchdown percentage. Dallas is bang average. What is enticing is Minnesota's been really bad the last 3 weeks, so you want to target rushing touchdowns against them. Dallas hasn't been great, but it's also such a small sample size. 50% it's 50%. So as far as the rushing touchdown or rushing versus passing funneling, there's not much to talk about there. If we want to talk about red zone usage, that's where I think we can talk about Justin Jefferson, whether it's there. Because like we said, the receiving usage will be there. They're probably going to be in a negative game script. Jefferson and Addison's usage has been there. It's just been super inefficient in terms of converting on some of that. So I'm pulling up some. Let's check red zone usage in the last 5 weeks. I have it on a different screen that isn't currently shared. So I'll commentate as I go through this. While I'm doing this, I'll put the parlays up on the screen for anybody joining late as well. Let me get this in the Discord. Live for Sunday Night Football plus parlays. Here we go. All right. So red zone usage for Minnesota. Minnesota. And let me change it to red zone. Here we go. All right. So in the red zone the last 5 weeks, Jordan Addison 5 targets, Justin Jefferson 4 targets. What's interesting about Justin Jefferson is he's only converted on 1 of his 4 targets. Let's see as far as them being catchable, how many of them were catchable. So Justin Jefferson, 4 targets, only 2 of them were deemed as catchable targets. TJ Hawkinson 3, Jalen Naylor 2, Jordan Addison 5. So in a 5-week sample size, you'd probably want more than that. The 2 touchdowns is where I think it gets a little suspicious. Obviously, 2 touchdowns is difficult in itself. That's not like a big brain moment here by me. I think if Justin Jefferson's going to get this, it's going to be with what you see in this parlay, because I have him for 80+ yards. And the reason for that is Dallas has turned into a passing funnel in the sense that their run defense has improved. It's still not great. It's a little overrated from what we've been hearing people talk about the last few weeks, but it is significantly better than their passing defense. Their passing defense down the field, atrocious, terrible. So you want to target them down the field. You're basically just picking between Addison and Jefferson. I think this is a very big buy low spot for Jefferson. So I'd keep your 1 touchdown parlays, your 2 touchdown parlay. I think I'm fine cashing out on, because if what you're saying is true and you have him as the last leg of multiple parlays, you'll be fine if he catches 2 touchdowns and you hit all your other parlays and you've cashed out of the big one. But if you don't cash out on any, and yeah, my train of thought was messed up when I was actually being vocal about what I was trying to say, but hopefully you get the point. Flournoy and Turpin. We got 2 questions about Flournoy in the chat, so I'll pull him up as well. And here we go. And the one thing that is worth talking about with the Vikings defense is they're a pretty big run funnel. They're not a good pass defense, but their passing yards and passing volume is low, which is kind of a problem when you're looking at guys who are already on the lower usage side. He has been getting more opportunity lately. So this 49 routes, obviously CD got injured there, so take it with a grain of salt. But we'll look at games with at least 19 routes with CD Lamb. And he has a 15.5 line, 20.5, up to 20.5 on some books. And in those games, 115, but again, CD went out 34, 0, and 12. I think you're playing with fire a little bit. I understand the appeal. You basically just need 1 yards per out run. You're looking for 2 catches, realistically. But like I said, this is not a matchup where you're betting on volume. You're betting on efficiency. And for what is probably the 4th option, maybe 5th if you count the running backs, you're kind of playing with fire. All right, what else we got? Dak under pass yards. I agree to an extent for the reason that I just mentioned, that the most teams you're focusing on the run game against the Vikings, and it severely limits how much you get in the passing game. And on top of that, they blitz. We know they like to blitz, especially on 3rd downs, and that usually hurts efficiencies because they just got to get the ball out so much quicker, and the completion rate goes down. So does CD get 60 yards today? I think so. Me and JJ really liked him. That's why we put his longest reception in the parlay. It hits every week. The only reason I didn't play his full game receptions was, again, you're betting on efficiency, not opportunity against this Vikings defense. And if that's the case, I'd rather just take the 1 big play than multiple big plays. Williams over rushing yards. I think that's a good one we can go over as well. Javonte, because I keep talking about how the volume is going to be so low in the pass game. And I'm like, okay, should we just target the run game? One thing I'd never checked that I probably should is I really don't want to bet on JJ McCarthy longest completion, but that's just been such a wagon. The only two quarterbacks not to hit their longest reception props against Dallas so far is Justin Fields and Geno Smith. I don't really count those. The issue is I also don't know if I really consider JJ McCarthy outside of that bracket of the two players that missed. So that's the problem that I'm running into. I don't know why this isn't loading properly. Let me put the parlay back on the screen while I figure this out. Apologies, guys. All right. Any questions I can get to while this is still loading? I'm doing Jetta's longest completion probably. Yeah, it's a fire play. Not in a disrespectful way, but what makes you like Ferg in the lotto? He's a home merchant, and if you look at where the Vikings allow targets, it's like the slot and the tight end. So it was really just a combination of those two things. I already have CD here, but asking for 7 receptions from CD and 5 receptions for Ferguson in a game where I'm not expecting ridiculous passing volume. I'd rather just take the lower number. But I think it was like, if I looked at where they're bad on defense, I'll pull it up on my other screen right here. Or I can put up a screenshot, honestly, too. But they're pretty average against tight ends in terms of passing volume and receptions per game to tight ends. But against wide receiver ones, which I'm considering CD to be over George Pickens, and anybody who disagrees needs to learn ball, they allow the 4th least receptions per game to wide receiver ones, but to tight ends, they're ranked 16th. So I was splitting hairs between Ferguson and CD, wanting to target the middle of the field in the quicker throws, and I just went with Ferguson. Sneakiest long shot touchdown. Somebody shouted out Malik Davis in the chat earlier. I do like that look, but sneakiest. Oh fuck! I already cleared out the red zone usage because Naylor was two targets. Hawkinson was 3 targets in the red zone. What are the odds we're talking with the long shot? Are we talking like plus 500 or like plus 1200 where we're getting real cheeky? Gotcha. Just looking at tight end logs versus the Vikings, I steered away from Ferguson tonight. Was just interested in what made you back him. Yeah, that's completely fair. It's one of those where I like it enough where I'm willing to put it in a volatile parlay because I think it's a volatile play, but I don't like it enough to be like, yeah, this is a lock. You can throw multiple units on this if you also really like it. If that makes sense. Okay, I was pulling up the touchdown odds. That's what I was doing. Plus 500. Okay, I can work with that. I think the deepest I'd go, Naylor's plus 550. I don't think I'd touch Turpin and Dak Prescott and Cowboys defense. That's where you get into plus 650s. So Naylor having almost similar usage to Jefferson in terms of catchable red zone targets is worth a shout. I know the coach likes him. Jordan Addison for the same reason that I mentioned Justin Jefferson earlier, where it's just that deep ball secondary is so bad that whoever's 40 yards down the field, if the quarterback has the balls to throw it to them and it's even somewhat accurate, it's going to end in a touchdown. The Dallas safeties and the way the corners defend the deep ball, it's truly atrocious. The defensive line got better at getting pressure, and then the secondary did not get any better. They're still terrible. So Addison at plus 240 isn't exactly a long shot, but I'd say Naylor and Addison are both solid long shot looks. The longest one in that bracket for Dallas is Flournoy, but I'm not that interested in Flournoy if CD and Pickens are both going to be healthy. The other route you could go that I also like is Prescott over 2.5 passing touchdowns is plus 200. That could be a sneaky way to look at it. What do you think of Dak? 250 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. 2 passing touchdowns, he does that. He's the same way Jared Goff's a home merchant, so is he. So that's locked in. 250 yards. I'll say this. I don't think he's going to miss it, but there's not enough value in the betting line for me to want to take it. Does this matchup favor CD? Yes and no. Like overall, it's not a great passing matchup, But when they do pass, it's going to funnel into CD and potentially Ferguson as well. Just the slot and tight ends going through the middle of the field. His jet is 21.5 longest reception, a good play. It is. Like I said, that Dallas secondary is just so atrocious. If I had the slightest bit of belief in JJ McCarthy, I would be a lot heavier on these Minnesota receivers because they're in such great buy low spots and such a great matchup. But I don't have that belief in JJ McCarthy, so I can't. Let me get this light on a little better. I don't know why that was off to begin with. There we go. All right. What is this McCarthy line, actually? I should check before I just dismiss it. Yeah, it's where I thought it was going to be, which is actually you can get 32.5 on FanDuel. Man, that's tempting. That is tempting. Because I can't put it up on, or I can get a screenshot. Hold on. Let's do that real quick. I have like multiple different what's called windows open, but I can't share all of them at once. And all of them are logged into different things. So let's see. Passing long. I'm going to show you guys how ridiculous this game log is. Can I extend this? No. All right, well, I'll do this for now. So this is off props.cash right now. This is something that I think we're going to add in the future. So this is the most recent games. Goff, Mahomes, Hurts all hit. Geno Smith hadn't thrown up to this point, the prior 5 weeks, he threw 2 deep ball attempts. Not completions, attempts. I'm talking passes more than 20 yards down the field. They were not throwing deep, which is why I didn't count it. Brissett, 50 ball. Knicks, 39. Jaden Daniels, 44. I'm going to scroll down and get a screenshot of the rest of it. Here we go. Jane Daniels, I just mentioned. Bryce Young, 36. Justin Fields, again, doesn't count. Jordan Love, 46. Caleb Williams, 65. Russell Wilson, 52. Jalen Hurts, 51. Like, they're not just clearing by a yard. They're nuking their lines. And I will say, like, this Mahomes one came on a broken play, but a lot of big plays do. Goff went over by 1. Okay. But then Jalen Hurts cleared. Like, it's how much do you trust JJ McCarthy? It's a perfect spot for him. It's a perfect spot for it to happen. And at 32.5, it's a good number. I might still play it. I don't know. But yeah, JJ is finding the end zone tonight. Mark my words, plus 185. That's the other thing. It's plus 185. When's the last time we saw Justin Jefferson at plus 185 to score a touchdown? This is, as far as asking for a deep ball, just like bullshit broken play touchdown, where JJ McCarthy, he doesn't have to drop it in a bucket. It's the margin of error is pretty wide. It's there. If I can't take CD over 25.5 longest, what should I take? Probably just receiving yards, 80 plus. Would like that's the one that, so obviously, if you guys haven't noticed yet, JJ couldn't be on the stream, and the one that we were initially talking about was just CD Lamb receiving yards. Like it's we love the usage, but because of the matchup and the fact that he wasn't here, I overrode him a little bit and just did longest reception. Do I like Dak under longest completion 37.5? I don't, because I think there's a bit of a narrative going on with the whole George Pickens stuff that I think they scheme up some deep targets specifically to get over that hump. McCarthy is scoring, rushing yards, anytime touchdowns. I'm not going to lie, Prop Plug. I see the vision. I was kind of there with you, but I hadn't looked into it enough to know if it's just like, oh, gut feeling. Obviously, I don't tell people to bet with their gut, so I try not to do the same thing. But yeah, I see the vision. Is Ferguson 13.5 longest reception a good bet? I'll say this: it's not a bad bet. I don't know that I think I like his volume more than his. For the tight end, I like volume more in this matchup. For the receivers, I like efficiency more. Which parlay do you like more from the two on the screen? Uh, the left side. So the one on the right is a lotto. It's like we kind of take the reads that we already have and then go further with them. I went with Jefferson and McCarthy instead instead of just laddering CD because if it's going to happen in any matchup, it's going to be this matchup. But if they hit, they're not going for 60 and 150. It's going to go for like 100 and 250. So I wanted to get that ladder aspect. What else we got? Gambling bot, DraftKings. Oh, as far as the Cowboys, I just realized I hadn't gone over any of that. Every system under the sun supports it. There's an app called Trend Center, not sponsored by them, just like it's an app that I use, and you can look up a bunch of different systems and filters for stuff like this. Like, oh, if the other team came off of an overtime game and is on shorter rest, the team covers X% of the time, stuff like that. And there's a lot that people already make. So you can just like scroll through the discovery feed of it basically. And you can look at specific games. In the Vikings case, there was one system that supported them. In the Cowboys, there was like 51. Like you would just scroll and there was more Dallas systems. But there was only one singular system that supported the Vikings. And you can always find a system that supports something. You bullshit enough filters, you can make it work. But if there's that big of a discrepancy in the number of systems you can find, one of them is the better side. And also, I just think Dallas is better. So there's that as well. Bet365 is boosting Dak 250 and 2 passing touchdowns to plus 200. Do you like that? Plus 200, yeah. I told somebody before that, like, I think he's getting 250. I think he's getting 2 passing touchdowns. But from a value standpoint on what those individual lines are, it was tougher to get by. But boosted to plus 200. I don't know what the normal parlay odds for that is. I can check. But, yeah, that looks pretty solid. Damn, Ricky Pearson needs to have imaging done on his knee. He can't catch a break, man. So the normal odds for that prop, or for that SGP, it's loading. Plus 101. So yeah, you're getting a significantly higher payout, and I think that's solid. If you guys haven't already, the site that I do all my research on, it's not one I'm partnered with. It's one that I made for you guys. It's one like, obviously I'm researching every day, and I'm aware of what's missing and what's useful in the space. So I just basically said, whatever doesn't exist, I'm putting this website. Whatever does exist and I find helpful, I'm putting this website. If you guys scan that QR code on the bottom right, you can have access to it too. We just recently launched, so we're taking as much feedback as we can get. You get a free week trial by using it, but some things that other websites don't have, you can filter for coverages. So like in this image, or what we have on the screen now, we're looking at Jordan Addison. They play the Giants next week. Giants rank 5th highest in cover 1 rate. So I say, okay, I only want to look at teams that rank top 10 in cover 1 usage. And it'll show me that on the graph. Or I only want to look at teams that rank Giants or bottom 10 in passing yards per game allowed. I want to remove the bottom 15, and it'll filter this game log to only show those games. So I think it's super insightful. I had a 4-2 week this week. Now, obviously not crazy, like nothing that I'm bragging about. But one thing that I've been doing lately is there's some reads I have where I'm like, okay, I'm making this read because the coach said this, or because I saw somebody post this stat. And then there's other reads I have where it's solely off of what I found from this website. The ones from this website are doing very good. The James Cook one, smacked, no problem. Troy Franklin, smacked. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, I still really like it. I don't regret the bet at all, but I didn't use the website to find that. I just know the Bengals are bad against tight ends. Brian Robinson, used the site. That was a bullshit loss. Jamar Chase did not use the site. Jared Goff did not use the site. So 2-0 when I use the site. Bijan Robinson hit on Thursday Night Football with a ladder. Used the site. So once I get more of a sample size, I'll be able to share those details with you as well, because the site's only been live for a few weeks. overall this season, haven't been having the best season I've been wanting to, but when I use the site, it's been really good. So I'm leading into the site more and more as we continue to improve on it. What's the parlay? Sorry, I forgot it's not on the screen anymore. These are the two parlays. We got Cowboys money line, Javonte anytime touchdown score, CeeDee Lamb longest reception. That is the. I don't want to. I hate using the word safe because obviously it's still plus 394. I'm not here to tell mislead anybody, but of the two, because of what the odds are, it is the safer parlay. And then a bit of a lotto look with taking that Cowboys money line, boosting it to the spread. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson both to have a day, and Jake Ferguson 5+ receptions, plus 1560 with the boost on DraftKings. It's going to be one of those where JJ McCarthy and Justin Jefferson, they either both go crazy or they're just going to completely shit the bed. And it's going to depend entirely on JJ McCarthy. I know Jettas has it covered on his end, but that Dallas secondary is truly atrocious. So get those in. If you guys are in the VIP, you can go to the Autofill Bot channel and you can see the autofill links on there. How much time we got until the game starts? 1 minute. All right. In that case, I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. One last time, like and subscribe if you haven't already, depending on what platform you're on, or get on the other platforms with Twitch and YouTube and Twitter. And join the website if you can. QR code in the bottom right. It is you get a free week trial. Like there's no reason not to try it because there's yet to be anybody that uses it and gets the free trial and doesn't stay with it. The only person that did was there was confusion on like the proper ways to use it and what some of the things meant. We got the user feedback. We improved on it. He subscribed again and we're chilling. So I promise it's worth the money. It's one of those things where I'm not using it if it's not worth the money, and I'm not going to sell it to you if it's not worth the money. And if you don't think it's worth the money, please let me know, and I'll adjust it to make sure it is. So free week trial in the bottom right. Please go test it out and let me know what you think. Last things in the chat. Javonte anytime touchdown is free money. I agree. That's going to be green. I feel like we've yet to take Javonte Williams for a touchdown bet, and he's been the one that chalked it. So I trust Javonte. Jake Ferguson yards, like Ferguson yards. You see here in the parlay, I have his reception. So I'm all aboard the Jake Ferguson train today. But unless there's anything else, appreciate you guys as always. Join the website, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, I think I'll have JJ with me. We haven't talked about tomorrow yet, but I'm hoping he will be. I know it's more fun when he's here. Take care, everybody. Good luck tonight.